vacuum, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Household chores? Dust bunnies, maybe? Well, on today's show, we're going to explore the art of cooking under a vacuum. Sous vide, as the French technique is called, is in Chennai for the first time, and we are here at the Park Hotel to experience it firsthand.
Sous vide literally means under the vacuum and is a technique that involves preparing food that has been vacuum sealed in plastic bags by cooking it in water at very precise temperatures. Chef Rajesh at the Park Hotel was going to demonstrate how to whip up a marvelous meal using the sous vide technique.
Well, I am standing next to what appears to me to be a washing machine, but in reality it is the secret to a simply sumptuous, not to mention a delicately prepared meal, courtesy of Chef Rajesh, who is going to demonstrate the art of sous vide cooking. Chef, so how would one prepare a meal sous vide?
See, sous vide essentially means under vacuum in French, and this is a cooking technique which is like getting very prominent the world over. Because of various benefits associated with this cooking method. It takes a little bit longer time, but the meat comes out incredibly tender, what you're cooking. And all the flavors are retained inside, all the nutrients are retained inside. It basically works on three parameters. One is that it cuts off the whole oxygen from the product that you're cooking. So no oxidation is happening, no vitamins are lost that way. Secondly, there is no contact with the water. So there is no extra water being added into the cooking process. So that saves up your nutrients. And thirdly, the heat is very low. So your loss of nutrients, loss of moisture from the meat, as you usually see if you're grilling a chicken breast, you lose about 30-35% of the moisture. So here it could be as low as 5%. So that's the whole benefit of doing this.
So you get juicier meat.
Yes.
And we have here the Chilean sea bass that you're going to demonstrate?
Yes. So what we have here is a fillet of sea bass, and I'm just going to add some salt, white pepper, garlic powder, and on the oil we don't use extra virgin olive oil. You have to use a bit more stable oil, because the extra virgin olive oil at the low temperature and the longer duration cooking, it tends to kind of give you an off taste. So we use refined sunflower oil is what we use here.
So what sorts of ingredients, for example, should you not prepare sous vide?
See, a lot of things that we have observed is from our practice and various practice that we've been doing over the time. Certain ingredients don't work well. Like for instance, like I told you, the extra virgin olive oil, it kinds of denatures in that low temperature and gives you an off taste. Same way, garlic, fresh onions, all this on a lower temperature cooking. After you finish your cooking, it doesn't give you a very nice taste. That's why you see that I have substituted the garlic powder here. And then the zest. You don't need too much of zest usually, because it's like very strong and pungent. So now it's the vacuuming of the meat that I'm going to show you. Now see, this is all computer controlled. It's got a microprocessor inside. So it is not just time based. So it automatically judges the amount of air that is left in the pouch, and then it finishes the vacuuming. And as soon as the vacuum is done, it seals it completely. The plastic pouch is sealed.
So no air whatsoever escapes?
Yes. See, once it's sealed, it automatically opens up. Yeah. So it's kind of completely sealed now. And now it's about putting it there. Yeah.
So now we have the sous vide contraption itself?
Yes. Okay. So this is actual, after the vacuuming, this is the next part of it. So this is the actual sous vide machine. So this machine basically is a very precise temperature control machine, where you can set your temperature and it doesn't allow a deviation beyond 0.1. So basically, which I mean, 50.0 is what we've set. It doesn't go beyond 50.1 or 49.9. So that kind of a precise control this machine has over the temperature. And then the cooking method actually is like poaching in water. So this water is now set at 50 degrees.
Okay.
And now our the marinated sea bass goes into this. And then we leave it here for about 20 minutes.
Sous vide cooking is usually done at much lower temperatures for longer periods of time. Cooking at this temperature, chef explained, is what enables the marinades to really sink in and what enables the herbs to permeate each morsel of meat. We usually cook at higher temperatures, which can result in parts of the meat being overcooked before the ideal internal temperature of the meat is achieved.
So now we're going to do the duck, the next dish on the menu today.
So with the fish, you were telling me between 50 to 55 degrees. What sort of temperature would you use for duck?
This, see, duck breast again, duck breast and the duck leg cooks at different temperatures.
Okay.
So duck breast, I cook it at about 54 degrees for 2 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, and it comes out medium, and comes out very nice. So I'll show you the marination of the duck. The dish menu we have on the menu is lemongrass and galangal marinated. So in goes the duck breast.
Okay. So now the finishing touches?
Yes. See the sous vide, what happens like we are cooking it in the water. So what you miss out on is that caramelization that you get, the browning of the meat that happens typically in roasting or a grilling or a pan sauteing. That doesn't happen. So to get that effect, what you need to do is then after you finish your sous vide process, you need to quickly pan sear this or grill it on a hot grill. So thank you very much for coming over and running through the demonstration regards to how to do the sous vide. So I think you can give me some time so that I can get your meal ready.
Sure. So
Then
I'll
we'll
wait
bring
at
it
the
over.
table.
Yes.
Thank you.
So I returned to my table in excited anticipation of my vacuum-sealed meal.
Well, my first course is going to be the Chilean sea bass. Now, this is a fish with a very mild flavor, slightly firmish texture, a high fat content. So we're going to need a wine to fit this fish.
From the park's extensive wine list, I chose a French Pinot Blanc from the Alsace region of France. It's a drier wine with fruity, peachy flavors and a high acidity, which ought to balance out the richness of my fish. And then the sea bass arrived, looking succulent and shimmering in the light, seasoned with a delicate dash of dill. On the side was a sprinkling of finely chopped, earthy flavored truffles, perched atop a creamy mound of mashed potatoes. Each bite was a delight, each sliver of fish so tender, it fell apart with just the slightest prod of my fork, and then proceeded to melt in my mouth.
Encore et encore.
The texture of the fish is rich. It actually doesn't even really flake. It sort of slices like butter. Oh. And to offset the fattiness of the fish is the tart passion fruit emulsion on the side. I am on cloud 9. Make that cloud 10.
Je regarde les étoiles, tes cheveux sont comme une comète affamée.
Soon after I'd gobbled up every last bit of fish, my lemongrass-infused duck arrived right on time. Fatty and indulgent was this dish, with a side of sweet potato mash, daringly red piles of sour cabbage sauerkraut, and a zesty coconut bisque on the side, accentuating the Asian influence of the recipe.
Comme ci, comme ci, comme ça. Comme ci, comme ça. Comme ci, comme ci, comme ça.
The duck is truly tender and juicy. You can really see the effect that the sous vide technique has on the meat.
Now, a meal simply isn't complete without a dash of sweet. Normally at the park, I've gone for the more extravagant sounding desserts, but a lovely little birdie suggested I try one of the more tried, tested and true North Indian desserts, the kulfi. So try it I did and never looked back. This hits the spot-worthy kulfi is served with a side of tart berry sauce, an unusual combination that works incredibly well.
Well, I've always been truly impressed with the food here at the Park Hotel, and today was no exception to that rule. Now, for your chance to see what I mean, and for your chance to dine upon all things divine, there is something you can do. All you have to do is answer the following question for your chance to win a free meal. What was the first sweet treat that humans indulged in? Was it A, jaggery, B, sugar, or C, honey? Send your answers in to feedback@ndtv-hindu.com, and you could be right here on the show helping me finish dessert.